work as a hand, a very, very junior hand, the first thing they give you is a skirt, because they don't think you can really spoil a skirt. So you were given that. Going back to the tailors, we made all the skirts for the suits, and the tailor made the jacket. And our fitter would never take the skirt up to the tailor. He always had to bring his jacket down to us. Now, if the jacket had a seam over the bust, it always had a seam on the skirt. And as you can imagine, that seam on the jacket and the seam on the skirt had to absolutely line up. So then it was a little argument, if it didn't line up, who was going to alter their seam, whether it was us or whether it was the tailor. But yes, so as I said, we used to do buttonholes. We had one customer that wanted tailored buttonholes. Now, if you look at a tailored suit, if you look at a buttonhole, it's got a little hole in it, hasn't it? It's beautifully done. And one of our customers, she insisted that she had tailored buttonholes. Yours truly had to go up to the tailors to learn how to do his buttonholes with gimp. You know, you have gimp. Do you know gimp? If you look at your husband's suits and you look at the buttonholes, they're quite stiff, and they have like a very thick thread running round them that the buttonhole stitch goes over. And you'll find, if you've got gimp in a buttonhole, the buttonhole never loses its shape, because this thick, like gimp in it, holds it into place. Because you know, sometimes if you're unlucky, your buttonhole will stretch. But no, if it has gimp in, it doesn't stretch at all.
Did you have a preference as to which house, fashion house you worked for?
No, some were easier than others, but they were all quite strict. They were, you all like sworn to secrecy. What was quite nice, you always knew, shall I say, where the Queen was going, who she was going to meet, what she was going to wear. Now, if she went to, I can tell you this little bit, if she went to an Arab country, she had to be completely covered. She had to have sleeve. The only thing you could see of her was her face and her hands. She had to be completely covered. Yeah.
Did you ever meet Hartnell? Did he? Did you ever meet Norman Hartnell? Did he?
He would come in the workroom. Yes. Oh yes, yes. He would come in just to see what I won't say to see what you were doing, because obviously he knew what you were doing. But yes, he would just come in. But he didn't come in an awful lot. No, because he was usually with the customers and that. But yes, so having all those fittings and all that embroidery and all that material, now you know why dresses cost an awful lot of money. Yes. One fabric was rather nice, and that is taffeta. It's rather lovely to over-sew taffeta because it doesn't fray. It's lovely. But the worst material to work on is velvet. Now today's velvet, you can iron it flat, with a hot iron and a damp cloth. In my time, it was cotton velvet, and you had to have a wire board. And that is... any of you sort of seen your husband's decorate, and he's got a wire brush that he rubs something down? Well, it's like that, but it's on a board. And of course you had to lay the velvet on, and it had to have a damp cloth. Not too damp, because otherwise you'd have a watermark all on the seam. And also to stop the seam, the thickness of the seam coming through, you have a piece of cardboard underneath. And then you can do that today. That's wonderful. Kellogg's cornflakes boxes are ideal. Cut 2 strips, put them under the seam, press it, and you don't get a mark. Yeah. Now, I have bought some books that the dresses. Now, you'll appreciate I could not take any photos in the workroom. We were never allowed anything like that. So in one of the folders there are some photos of people that probably you would know, but I've taken them from newspaper cuttings because we weren't allowed. But all the others are the different dresses that I've been asked I've been asked to make, and like a couple of my goddaughters asked me if I'd make their wedding dresses, and I'd said to them, look, go up to London and try dresses on. Try a straight dress on, a very full dress, and like an in-between dress, because I said, in your mind, you might think you want a dress that's got puff sleeves, frills, bows, what have you, and when you put it on, that is not you. So I said, take either your mum with you or a friend, and try these three dresses on, and then if you find one that you really like, I said, you've got to remember, I cannot copy it exactly. I've got to make a little alteration on it, but either get your friend or mum to remember the bodice, you remember the skirt, go and have a cup of coffee and sketch it. Well, you'll see the most magnificent sketches I've got on paper bags, on anything that they had got. And they've said, and I've got the photos of the finished article. They've often said to me, can you make me a dress like this? And I used to think, right, okay, I'll have a go. So you will see all that in there. And I don't do as much sewing as I used to do, because I'm still fortunate. I haven't got any rheumatism in my hands, so I am fairly lucky. And also, when I was in the workroom, we had, as I said, we weren't allowed to have cushions for our back. We had to sit up straight. As you know, when you sew, you automatically drop your shoulders like this. And our fitter, she was very keen on people sitting upright. She used to say, come on, girls, sit up. And being teenagers, you'd think, hasn't she got something better to do? But I must say, I'm very grateful for her for making us sit up, because I had no problems with my shoulders at all. Any more questions? Because I could rabbit on for a long time.
You mentioned your wages. Now, did you have to board, or were you living at home?
I was living at home,
Right.
yes. Oh yes, £1, 2 and 6 a week. When Alison first started work, she came home and she said to me that she had earned £52. And I said, that's for 1 week. And I said, Alison, I worked nearly a year for that. Well, I mean, she looked at me much as a bigger fool you know. But you know, it was just, I thought, well, you know, that was it. But I can always remember Alison's face. Now, I thought perhaps you might like to see Alison's wedding dress. So if there is any more questions, and please just go and you know, please look. And she has got a little blue bow at the back. All the wedding dresses we made in the workroom, they all had their little blue bow. Yes. You know, when was it? I don't know today. All the dresses are off the shoulder, aren't they, the wedding dresses? But we did make a wedding dress, and this is going back about 1950, 52, black and white. And it was white brocade, and it had all black embroidery on it. Now, I mean, in those days, people were horrified to think black at a wedding, but it really was a lovely dress. It's a beautiful dress. So now, I can say with, you know, with different colour wedding dresses and what have you, you know, yes, we did do a black and white wedding dress. Yeah.
If you had clients that came and they decided they wanted a dress that really wasn't suitable for them, would anybody offer them any advice?
Now, if that happened, what we used to do was we would make not the dress, but make the pattern up in mull. We would do both sides of it and then get the customer to try it on. And then keeping your fingers crossed that it would all of a sudden hit her, that it was not her. Yes. I gave a talk at Dr. Bernardo's. It was a charity talk, charity function, and a lady came in and she had a beautiful suit on, and I thought, that suit is something. Afterwards, she came up to me and she said, oh, you brought back memories to me. So I said, oh, I hope they were happy memories. She said, my sister was Sandra Rhodes. You know, the design. And I thought, now I know why you've got this beautiful suit on. Yes. Right, so you're very, very welcome. Thank you for being a nice audience. And you're very welcome to have a look at the photos if you'd like, and come and have a look at Alison's dress. Thank you.
Thank you.